heart attack, fast fatal heart impact, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and packs. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet out. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here. And now, let us begin. Whenever we last left off, something strange has happened. Not only did Midoriya, at the age of 15, lose a battle, he lost it against another angel. Midoriya is a human with the powers of a fallen angel. However, he fought a fallen angel. And it did not go well in his favor. Midoriya was nowhere near the strength of this man. However, Midoriya, he's had time. While you do have everyone else. All Might and All For One were killed in the ensuing chaos. And then you do have other people. Bakugo, Katsuki, and the humans. After the doorway to hell was open, Midoriya was taken down there. And tortured mercilessly for an unknown period of time. His wings were mangled, and had a lot of stuff done to them. Now, with that being said, the Doomslayer and the Ghost Rider broke into Hell and freed Deku. And, they are currently fighting their way out. Midoriya could barely stand on his own 2 feet. And you do have the Doomslayer, who quite simply just picked him up and threw him over his shoulder. Anytime a demon or anything tried to get in his way, he quite simply just backhanded it, being able to punch it into multiple pieces. Afterwards, you also do have the Ghost Rider. Anytime he encountered resistance, he would do the penance stare. Every demon falling onto the ground and their heads either burning up into flames or simply exploding and their eyes glazing over. Now, with that being said, whenever they do get back to Earth, they look around and see the devastation and the chaos. This being where Midoriya, he does actually try standing on his own 2 feet, once again. Them beginning to tell him that he is going to be quite needed. You still didn't explain who you were. Well, you think we should tell him? I think he's ready. He's had to deal with divine shit, right? So he should be used to the weird? You call it weird, but the man's saying as he brings his hands up to his helmets. Meanwhile, the other man with the flaming skull, it goes out. And the two do reveal their faces. Midoriya is somewhat taken back. These two look exactly like him. They both have the exact same face, albeit one more scarred than the other. Now, Doomslayer begins to simply state that he has heard of, different universes, right? I believe it's called multiverse theory. Yeah, I'm confused. Rightfully so. Anyways, listen. I think he knows a bit more than me. Do you want to explain it? Yeah, I'll take it from here. Listen. It's all going to sound a bit more complicated than it actually is, but here goes. You are, part of a war. You know this much, correct? Yeah? Okay. Your war began whenever you were 15. Whenever the portal to hell was opened, there was a signal. Something was triggered. And recently, because of losing efforts from the angels, they need us. God has called both of us. We just so happen to be you. You're not making any sense. Okay, so let's put it like this. We are both you. But we have similar instances. He's been to hell before too, or at least a dimension like it. Blessed by an angel, right? Yeah, I had to free a soul, kill a demon, do all this crazy shit with my quirk. Yeah, and then there's me. I made a deal with the devil, and he tried to get me to kill this guy. Yeah, I still would have won that fight. You really want to go for round two? Really? Round two? What would this actually be? Round three? Round four? Do you even remember what number we were at? I will kill you. Just try it, fucker. Will both of you just stop? Okay. So, explain it a bit better to me. Okay. How about this? We're you, but different. I have a quirk, he does not. You two are similar. My quirk allows me to kill anything I want and gain its power, strength, and anything. In fact, I myself have spent some time in a dimension. Meanwhile, you do have him. He spent 2,000 years in hell. I probably spent around, well, it was over 100. Shit. Even I don't remember. Whatever. But hey, this is your world. And we're here to join your war. If we stop it, then it won't spread to our worlds and destroy them. Do you understand me? Yeah. Anyways, are you sure we can even save this place? Look for yourself. Now, Midoriya tries to use his abilities. As soon as he goes for his guilty vision or his ability to see innocent and guilty, he begins to look around. The air above him is currently coated with red, and dots do fly by. Then there is also the fact that, looking around, he seems to see traces, and or at least white footsteps. Confused by these. Now, he simply begins to walk in that direction, while the two do begin to follow him. Meanwhile, let's cut to back in the past. Or roughly about... Yeah, I do believe that will work. Roughly about... well, a year after the portal to hell opened. Everyone is currently on edge, and they're still trying to help the cities. They have been trying to prevent the cities from falling, and trying to keep peace in the country. Every single hero that you have, they are trying to fight, and trying to help. Along with that, you do have Heaven, and their own holy warriors. They themselves have come to Earth, and not only have they tried to inscribe humans to their war, but they've even tried to help out. Nowadays, the standardized human, they either have angelic abilities, and or at least weapons to hurt demons. Especially whenever you do encounter the fact that people do begin to come up with their own homemade weapons. Along with that, you do have the fact that you could use or melt down these holy weaponry and make them into makeshift guns. Or, not guns, makeshift bullets. And put it into a regular firearm. No one will really tell the difference. until you try and threaten let's say, a demon with a peacemaker. Yeah, and you fire it and he thinks it's a regular bullets. Until there's a hole in his chest. Anyways, now, roughly about most of the population of the Earth, they've been having to fight, and have been trying to keep it contained in Japan. It has spread to other countries before, but the portals have not been able to properly open around the world. And you do have Mei Hatsume. After she was dug out of the rubble and found, they were surprised that she was even alive. And there was the fact that she herself should have been dead. Whenever she first woke up, she tried to explain it. And it was found that she, well, the amount of damage to her body was quite significant, and she had to be put into an iron lung. It wasn't very good, and they believed that they can still help her, and she could still help them. Especially with the fact that the guardian angel that Midoriya had is connected to her now. Her trying to explain it and simply just trying to put it into words. Whenever they do find this out, they want to understand what that means. Does that mean that she can do exactly what Midoriya can? No, it does not. It just means that she is able to stay alive. And it just makes her a bit more resilient to death. The guardian angel, however, she actually did have to somewhat bond with Mei. Whenever she was very weakened from basically giving Midoriya most of her power, she had to merge in order just to simply stay alive. Now, she has to stay here. She's keeping Mei alive and Mei is keeping her alive. It's a mutual agreement. And you do have Melissa Shields and David. Whenever they found out about all this stuff going on, they began to try and work with the military and create technologies that would help. Once the angels in heaven stepped in to try and basically talk with the, human military and forces, they learned that holy weapons are the only thing that can hurt these things. That or very, very high caliber weaponry. Anything basically the level underneath the nuclear option might be able to work, but it's not a 100% idea. Now, with that being said, Mei Hatsume was confined to a bed, the iron lung. And whenever David's shield and Melissa's shield did eventually basically make their way here and find Hatsume at a secure location, it was surprising to see her. They were kind of curious about how this happened to her. Once she explained it and informed them about it, she began to tell them she herself has been stuck here and thinking. If they can get her anything she needs, that would be much appreciated. And they began to talk with her. Mei, she can still work. She might not be able to do it with her hands, but she can do it with her mind. Melissa and David Shields. They began to work with Mei Hatsume, and she began to try and instruct them on certain things. She needs a suit that would be able to be like an iron lung. A suit that would be able to help her actually move around. If they have a way to simply make one and help her, it might aid in her physical recovery. She was already supposed to have died, but she was still not dead. So, she believes that if she can get up and moving again, then basically, possibly, begin to actually work and push herself, she might be able to actually, recover. Properly physically recover. It's a risky idea. And Melissa Shields and David, they're not too keen on it. However, Hatsume, she does not want to live like this. And they began to work. certain prototypes did begin to at least show signs of aiding in her physical recovery. However, that became a problem. They either began to malfunction and or stop working. And this being war times, as things began to progress, the technology got better. You have to innovate and redesign things, along with the fact that new technology is being designed to combat the threats. So, roughly about 3 years after her accident, she was able to successfully get a suit created, get something to help her. This is whenever they created this life support suit. And it was able to actually help her vitals. This suit allows her to walk around and move, while also maintain the regular features of what she needs to survive. Now, along with that, David Shields and Melissa, in conjunction with major governments, and, well, being provided resources from heaven and working with weaponsmiths from there, were also able to begin to create technologies, and or suits based off the Iron Man design and the War Machine designs. Now, these specialized suits, they are quite resourceful. Not only do they run on angelic power, and at least a couple $100 million, but manufacturing them is quite hard. Every piece is made out of angelic metal, along with actually being mixed in, basically made with the idea for a human to use. Now, you basically use your soul to power it, and the people who have been using it, not only do they eventually die, but they are replaced. It's not a very good system put into place. However, it is what they have to do. Now, let us cut to back in the present day with Midoriya, the Doomslayer, and the Ghost Rider. Midoriya is still walking. He is simply just following this trail. Innocent footprints. Walking in their path and seeing where they lead. Now, Doomslayer simply just asks Midoriya if he's sure that he can't just fly. And Midoriya just looks at him, before telling him no, and continuing to walk. They walk for what feels like hours. And eventually Midoriya, he's outside. He's looking at what seems to be a giant wall. And this is a giant door. Midoriya just putting his hand on it and trying to see what it does. Looking at it. Before you do have a loudspeaker come on. And begin to try and at least talk. Asking exactly, who is this? Hello? Who are you? Really, I should be asking you that question. Exactly who the hell are you? And why are you with the Rider and the Doomslayer? Oh, I'm Azuka Midoriya. This being where there is a long pause. That's not possible. Azuka Midoriya died 5 years ago. I'm sorry? What are you talking about? He was defeated with All Might. Izuku Midoriya has been dead ever since all this shit began. No, I'm not dead, I'm standing right here. Really? So, Mr. Angel of Vengeance, you mind showing me your wings as proof? Exactly where the hell have you been? Well, you answered your own question. What? I've been in hell. Now, this is whenever Doomslayer simply just tells them to open up the door. Sir, I do not have proper authorization. Now, this is whenever Midoriya gets annoyed, and shows off his wings. The person horrified at the sight of them. They have heard of the Punisher's wings before, they've seen pictures, and they've always wanted to see them in person. However, there's what they look like now. Mangled, bloody, and scorched. What was once beautiful, now ugly, and horrifying to look at. And Midoriya putting them away, saying, "Is that enough?" I'm sorry. Now, they simply just walk away, going to call somebody. Now, after roughly about 20 minutes of waiting, this is what happens. The doors begin to open, and out steps a few people. Midoriya being shocked to see a few of them. Now, Midoriya, whenever these massive doors opened, he saw Mei Hatsume. However, she looked different. Her hair was shorter and she had a different suit on. Then there was Bakugo. He's staying there, yeah, but he just looks more pissed off. He got jacked to high hell and simply just began to work on his quirk a bit more. But there's also this strange device covering his left arm. Then there's a few other people. He believes that that's Mr. Aizawa, and then there's Melissa Shields. She looks a bit more different, and then there's Mr. David Shields, with a long and scruffy beard. Now, along with that you do have Momo Yanirozu and Ibarra. Ibarra does sport, well, some armor, and actually does have a bit of longer hair, and a weapon. And Momo, she quite simply is rocking two very powerful guns, and holsters at her waist, at her side, and a couple blades on her back. Midoriya, surprised to see all of them. As soon as they see him, they're confused. Midoriya going to, well, step forwards. And as soon as he does, they immediately recognize him. They didn't think that the mission would actually be successful, and they're surprised that it was. Mei actually just running up to Midoriya and hugging him, along with Bakugo and the others stepping forwards. Before, you do have somebody else. Shoto Todoroki. The man himself. A lot of people were actually surprised that he was there. During the battle where the Punisher and the Punisher fell. I almost said Doomslayer for some reason. Now, after the battle, Todoroki, he began to immediately try and help, and try to make sure everyone was alright. He's supporting a bigger burn scar, however. His fireside, that part of his face where his scar is, it's increased dramatically. Where it ran down the only side of his face towards the area around his eye, it now actually coats his entire cheek, and does actually run a bit down his neck. Now, whenever Midoriya is actually being asked questions, they simply just bring him inside first, and try to inform him. Now, while that is going on, Mei, she is talking with the angel, and the angel is simply just speaking to her, telling her that she needs to go back to Midoriya, and that she believes that she is in proper health. She doesn't need to give her that little boost anymore. Huh? Oh, okay, that's perfectly fine. But I will need some assistance to get to Midoriya. Oh, alright. Mei immediately kissing Midoriya, and surprising him. As soon as she kissed him, he actually did feel a bit better. And he felt like he got a bit stronger. That being where he hears the angel's voice in his head again, and realizes exactly what has been happening. Her trying to fill him in within short bursts. And Midoriya, he is taken to a doctor to see exactly what's been going on with his body. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing night. I'll catch you guys in the next part.